Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for joining the virtual Meet the Grad event for the Community Studies, Social Services, and Justice Studies. My name is Wendy Mackey, and I'm the Director of Alumni Relations at Mohawk College. And it's my pleasure to be your host and your guide this afternoon to take you through the different sessions taking place. Meet the Grad is a long-standing event at Mohawk that has provided a great opportunity for students to build connections with graduates working in their fields of study and to learn about current sector trends. As you can see, we are doing things a little bit differently this year. While we are not able to meet in person, we hope you enjoy hearing from and networking with the Mohawk alumni and industry professionals with us this afternoon. We have a great lineup of panel discussions and employer exhibitor booths that are designed to help support you in planning for life after Mohawk. This year's Meet the Grad event is hosted in partnership with Alumni Relations, Student and Graduate Employment, Co-op, and Mohawk faculty. Before we begin, and even though you are joining us from your home, we are virtually gathered at Mohawk College. And it's important for us to remember and to acknowledge that Mohawk College is situated on the traditional territory of the Haudenosaunee and Anishinaabe nations, with lands protected with the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Agreement, and is currently home to many Indigenous people from across Turtle Island. We will begin today's event with remarks from our keynote speaker, followed by 4 alumni and industry panels focused on different areas of community studies, social services, and justice studies. These panels begin at 4:45 and will feature alumni from child and youth care and educational support, early childhood education, justice studies, and social services. After the panel discussions at 5:30, you will have an opportunity to visit our employer exhibitor booths. You will find both the panels and the employer exhibitor booths along the top menu and on the right-hand side of your screen. Once you select your choice, it will bring you to a new page where that event will take place. We encourage you to ask the alumni and our industry panelists questions in the chat box. Should you have any questions or difficulty navigating the platform throughout the event, we have staff on hand to support you. Just simply email alumni@mohawkcollege.ca and someone will be able to assist you. To begin this afternoon's virtual event, it is now my pleasure to introduce our alumni keynote speaker, Karina Brown. Karina Brown grew up in Hamilton and is the youngest of 3 girls. Since childhood, all 3 have been involved in sports and music. While attending Westdale Secondary School, Karina fell in love with the sports program, specifically basketball. Fast forward a couple years, Karina enrolled at Mohawk College and became a member of the women's varsity basketball team and was engaged in other activities on campus. After completing the general arts and science and health and wellness programs, Karina realized she wanted to influence the lives of the younger generation, and she accepted a seat in the child and youth care program. This is where Karina changed. She focused on being a successful athlete and a serious student, striving to achieve honors in every semester. She wanted to be the best that she could be. Karina's student placement as part of the Child and Youth Care program was at the John Howard Society of Hamilton and Burlington, and that led to a permanent position as a youth worker. Throughout her time at John Howard, Karina has coordinated the Achieves program and has been involved in work at the Non-Residential Attendance Center. Karina, we are thrilled to have you join us today to share your career journey with our students. Without further ado, I pass the microphone over to you.
Thank you, Wendy. Hi, everyone. It's nice to virtually meet you guys all, and thank you for taking the time out to hear my spiel and be able to pay it forward and give you guys a heads up of what's to come. So a little bit about me. Wendy's already said it. So I work at the John Howard Society of Hamilton, Burlington, and area. I'm currently on mat leave to a beautiful baby boy. So it's nice to enjoy that time, but I'm happy and excited to return back to the place that I love. So I started at John Howard as a student. It was my final placement. While I was a placement student, I worked in both the YARD program, so the Youth at Risk Development Program, which was funded for 5 years, that came to an end August of 2018. And I also dual worked with the NRAP program, so the Non-Residential Attendance Center, which is pretty much a program, a vast variety of programs that is referred to by probation officers for the youth. So it can go anywhere between cooking skills to the Section 23 classroom and everywhere in between. So I got the opportunity to get my feet wet in both of those avenues and fell in love with the at-risk youth, let's say, pretty much the kids that were falling between the cracks. You know, it's an eye-opening experience when you come from one side of your life where you are a law-abiding citizen, let's say, haven't gotten in trouble, you listen to the rules, and you get to experience or be in a position where you get to see someone who has a completely different life, taking advantage of an opportunity that can help better them. So I absolutely fell in love with my placement. I was blessed when they offered me a position to work with the YARD program, considering I was only 24 years old, so fresh, like 24, fresh out of college. Well, I didn't even graduate by the time that they offered me a position, but then I graduated. But anyway, so it was an amazing opportunity. I was able to meet so many different kids and so many different adults. Some of them were 18 years old. And it just, it really makes you think and be appreciative of the things that you do have. When I get to go home to a loving family, roof over my head, and I know some of the kids have a different situation like that. So let's get started. So I worked with the YARD program, and unfortunately, when the funding came to an end, I didn't really know what my next step was going to be. But then I interviewed for another job, and I was given an opportunity to be a John Howard School youth worker with the Gateway program. The Gateway program is in the Hamilton Wentworth District School Board, and it is a suspension and expulsion class. So what I would do is my role at John Howard, as a John Howard worker, is we would have like restorative circles every time I was there. So I was there on Mondays and Wednesdays, and we would just sit down and we would just talk about anywhere between an actual skill or just communication. So my job there was to break that barrier between teacher, like staff and student. And we're all one in the circle. Everybody's treated like the next person next to you. There is no hierarchy. And it was an amazing experience just to hear from different perspectives from those students. And especially because everybody is a good person. Sometimes they just make a bad mistake, right? And a lot of the times within the school system, they found that they were getting judged just on that one mistake. So it was interesting to see hear what their mistake was, but you get to see that person as an individual, right? It's one thing when you read someone or get a feeling of someone when you're reading their school file, and then you meet them face to face, and it's like, that doesn't even seem like the same person. So it was interesting perspective to be in that position. But yeah, that's what we did, restorative circles, and I did one-on-one support as well. I was an support staff for a program called the Achieves program eventually, before I was the coordinator position. And that is a position where it's for kids between the grades 6 and 8. So they're not quite old enough to attend majority of the programmings that Hamilton has. And it's just about life skills. If you have trouble communicating, trouble building relationships, just breaking those barriers down to make you realize who you want to be. And that program is intended for you to, that goal of that program, is for you to achieve post-secondary education, whether that be college, university, or anywhere in between that. That was the main goal, is to stay, have a dream, stay motivated to it, and here are the steps that you can take between those barriers. So that's my whole career at John Howard. So as of right now, I was acting coordinator of the Achieves program, and I was still John Howard staff for the Gateway program. So in that time, I've learned a lot. So this is one thing that I learned as a student, and I'm sure you guys pretty much already have a feeling for this. Students, especially youth, can see right through you. So you have to be genuine. You can't just say something and not really mean it, because they can almost feel and get that sense that you're not really meaning it. Be adaptable. You have to be able to adapt on change. Like, change is going to happen. So many times I was running a program and something went completely the opposite direction, and you just have to think on the fly. So it's always good whenever you are creating a program or have something in your mind to have a plan B and plan C as well, because in case those situations happen, you've got the backup plans. Also, be creative. If you're in a position where you're able to create a program or able to work on an assignment with someone, encourage that student or find whatever that student's likes are and try to bring that out of them in whatever that project is. So whenever you've got a project, or you're creating an assignment, or you're creating a whole lesson, try to be creative with that and make it interactive, because you got to know students sit majority of the day on their computers now for school, and have to do those like boring assignments, whatever. Try to make it so much like a fun activity that they don't even realize that they're actually doing it. Sorry, I'm just reading my notes here. I'm trying not to miss any points here. Let's see here. And you have to love what you do. If you don't have that love and drive there, the students will be able to see that too. Majority, like child youth care is not a position or not a field that you go into for money. It's because you care about what you're passionate about what you're doing. So make sure that the love in is there, because if you're not happy with what you're doing, you're just gonna hate going to work every day or hate what you're doing or not enjoy it. And then it's just gonna be an excuse not to go to work. If you've got that drive and that love for that career and for whatever you're doing, it will shine on your face. But be happy with what you're doing, believe in yourself, don't ever doubt yourself. And if you have questions, ask your superiors or ask employees or your colleagues that have a little bit more experience than you, because that's exactly what I did. I relied on my team and my supervisors as well. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be in the position that I'm in today. So don't be afraid to ask questions, take drive, take initiative, be adaptable, be creative, and enjoy whatever you end up doing. That's what I have for you guys.
Thank you so much, Karina. It's wonderful to hear how Mohawk helped to launch your career and what actions you found to be helpful after graduation. Great words of advice. You do need to love what you do every day. You need to be genuine and be flexible as you enter into the world. We appreciate you taking the time this afternoon and look forward to staying connected with you.
Thank you.
At this time, I invite our participants to join one of the 4 alumni and industry panels taking place. Simply select the panel you want to participate from the menu at the top or on the right-hand side of your screen. This will bring you to a new page. Don't forget the employer-hosted booths at 5:30, where you can network with employers in the community and justice studies and social services industry. And just before we head off, I would like to extend a big thank you to our guest speakers and the organizers of Meet the Grad. This event would not be possible with all of that support. And I would like to once again thank all the students and recent graduates for joining us today. We hope you enjoy your sessions and connecting with Mohawk graduates. Have a great afternoon. Thank you.